Greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the Aries Festival gathering of the Meditation for the Common Good. Today we begin the Aries cycle in our continuous rhythm of the work. The topic that was selected for our group meditation in this cycle is revealing a new truth, finding balance through Christ consciousness. This topic was selected based on the sharing at the preparatory meeting, the lead to the full moon. And this topic comes in alignment with the overarching theme that we hold during the science of the cardinal cross, new leadership, cleaning the house of religion and the house of politics. This theme is one of the prerequisites for the reappearance of the Christ. And therefore, we continue our work, meditating, reflecting, and sharing to magnetize the most radiant ideas that can become thought forms that inspire and lead humanity on its evolutionary path. And this is our service. Thank you for joining us. And as always, we start our work with sounding the purpose of our work. Over to you, Brigitte.
Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an Asramic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. And over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Brigitte. Thank you, everyone, for being here today in this important work. Also, it's Good Friday, so happy Good Friday to everyone. So we begin by reading the seed thoughts that were gathered from our first quarter moon meeting. And as Alexander said, from these seed thoughts, a topic for this cycle in Aries was created, which is revealing a new truth, finding balance through Christ consciousness. So there were 8 seed thoughts, and I will read them now. 1. The balance between the feminine and masculine and the need for transparency in the world. Number 2. Exposure healing through the emphasis and amplification of love wisdom, leading to creative inspiration. Number 3, responding to the will of God, bringing heaven to earth. Number 4, awakening to Christ's energy in all aspects of life. Number 5. Let the soul's light reveal the truth in the world. Number 6. May the Mother of the world help us to hold this truth and find the way to unfold it in our daily living so her love and vision will hold us. Number 7. Elevation of consciousness brings a completely new expansion and approach to religion and politics. Number 8, and our final seed thought, the will to love. And now it's time for us to start and begin our meditation in this cycle of Aries, which is on the cardinal cross. And concerning our topic, revealing a new truth, finding balance through Christ consciousness. And Lynn has graciously offered to focalize this cycle. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Lynn now, and she will lead us in our meditation for today. Thank you.
Hello, my friends. I'll rely on your goodwill to get me through this process, and appreciate you all coming. Time to align. Let us sense the warmth of our hearts as we link together. Holding our chalice up, we invoke the impressions and energies which will guide and support the common good of humanity and our planet at this time. Our intention is to be of service, assisting human and planetary life and activity as we focus together as a group in preparation to receive higher thoughts, impressions, and energies that will later be distributed at the time of the new moon. Let's begin now by aligning to our heart, to our Ajna center, and to our soul. From here, we align with the group heart, the group Ajna, and the group soul, then on to the group Antakarana. Let's connect now with the hierarchy and all the unseen beings and souls who aid our invocative and evocative efforts on behalf of our service to humanity and to all planetary life. We lead our minds and our group mind into quiet receptivity to hierarchical energies, ideas, and impressions that are especially available to us during the full moon. As we work across this month from the full moon to the new moon in Aries, we become receptive to and aware of the energies available that will assist our work. Let us now connect with our topic for this month. This full moon, as we tune into our higher selves, our group connections, and the hierarchy, we have Aries energies available to us. And also, even more important, we have the energy of the first major spiritual festival of the year, the festival of the risen living Christ, recognizing God's love. The first of the festivals, we are told by DK, that are the basic structure of the New World religion. Let's take a moment to feel the power of that great love within us, flowing through us. Now let's take a look at the possibilities for our work presented by Aries. It is the sign of beginnings, the birthplace of divine ideas, the initiator of the new age. It is part of the cardinal cross, the cross of will and power, and initiates the cycle of manifestation, even creating the necessary conditions. Life appears as spiritual energy in Aries, enters the soul stage in Cancer while incarnating into form, reaches equilibrium of soul personality in Libra, and reaches goal fulfillment when incorporating the will nature in Capricorn. First ray will energy reaches Earth through Aries, where it is transmuted by our first ray planetary logos into the activity of Aries ruling planets, Mars, Mercury, and Uranus. The sixth ray activity of Mars leads to the crisis of the battlefield due to its relationship through Mars to Scorpio. The fourth ray activity of Mercury leads to the crisis of birth through its relationship to Virgo. The seventh ray activity of Uranus leads to the crisis of the final burning ground related to Aquarius. Aries is made effective through Uranus. The key words of this sign, number 1, and the word said, let form again be sought. The second, I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. As the new energies have been coming through this year to our group, we've been speaking more recently about will, the use of will. According to DK, when used by evolved consciousness, the correct use of first ray force can show as these things. Power of organization, control over forces, particularly the energy of death. Power of destruction applied with love. Dominion over multitudes. Power of cooperation with the plan. And practice of will in rightly and correctly guiding and directing planetary affairs. At this time, in this tremendously important and eventful year, Saturn is transiting through Aries, bringing responsibility back to the individual. We must save ourselves, we're told, both daunting and liberating. At the same time, Neptune's Aries transit helps us know that we are connected to something greater than ourselves. Finally, the sun is exalted in Aries in the life of the spirit. Let us now connect with our topic for this month, revealing a new truth, finding balance through Christ consciousness. As we deepen our contemplation on our topic, let us ponder the following questions. Question 1. What is our new truth? As we create new vehicles in government and religion, how can we manifest this new truth through soul-based goals? Question 2. How can we balance the will energy offered by Aries to align with soul consciousness? How can we manifest this in our society and throughout humanity? And question 3. With the knowledge that the David kingdom are the builders of the material worlds, how can we offer balance that will bring in the new enlightened age? And how does Christ consciousness play a part in this? It is now time to return from our pondering. As we draw together the impressions from our contemplation, let us allow them to take form, whether as words, pictures, symbols, sounds, or even colors. As we draw our impressions together, we'll rest in silence for a few more moments. We see our impressions flowing together into the group heart, filling our chalice, vitalizing it with radiant light, enhancing its beauty and wisdom. Together we direct this light upward to the hierarchy and await their blessings on it. And now, realizing our invocation today, we witness its radiance pouring downward from our chalice into the lower planes, stimulating all receptive hearts and minds. Grounding our work in the energies we have invoked today, let us sound the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of humanity, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. So mote it be, and help us each to do our part. Om. 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 As we close our meditation work today, let us identify with the soul in all and apply our efforts to be in accordance with divine will. We send forth the results of our efforts, our thoughts, our love, and the energy of our group work to help humanity and our earth in all its diversity and ultimate unity through its transformational journey into the sacred. We do this through focused direction of energy from our group ajna, sending the light out to higher beings, to other spiritual groups, to the soul of humanity, and to all sentient beings as we assist the forces of light. Om. 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 Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone. It's time now for us to open up our sharing. And just a reminder that if you would like to add anything during the next few weeks as we come towards the new moon meditation, you're welcome to add anything you'd like to upon our topic and any contemplations and impressions you get on the community impressions board, which is now available on our homepage of the 2025initiative.org. And I believe Alexander just put it, the link to that in our chat box just now. So let's just continue sharing our impressions across the next couple weeks in preparation for the evocation at the time of the new moon. So at this time, feel free to unmute yourself and share impressions that you've received or thoughts or anything that comes to you or has come to you throughout this meditation or about our topic and the questions asked. So I'm going to open it up, open the floor to everyone. So please feel free to unmute yourself and speak. Thank you.
I can start quickly. Bear with me. I have a 7-month-old who's part of this meditation with us today. First, Lynn, thank you. Thank you very much for that meditation. You brought so much in it. You brought reminders of the group work that we've been endeavoring to bring into consciousness. And you just brought a peacefulness and an inclusiveness in it that I think is really part of the topic that we're focused on. When I think of revealing a new truth, I take that word revealing, and to reveal something is to let it be seen. And so in all of these questions, it is, I think, demanding that we, in what sometimes appears to be a very small role, and even as group, which when you look at the billions of people on the earth, can seem small and with a concern that maybe it isn't consequential, but we know better. And we know that part of our revealing is to be the teachings, to be the truths that we know, to act and think and express in the highest soul qualities. We know how to do that. And it can be sort of taken to the most simplest form of just always, always being kind. You know, I often think about that bumper sticker that was a while ago that was, what would Jesus do? And to me, it's about what do we do as the Christ consciousness? What would the Christ consciousness do? How would the Christ consciousness respond in any and all circumstances? And we're human beings, so we need to be forgiving and patient with ourselves and each other. But if that just simple phrase of what would the Christ consciousness do in this experience at that moment, it often makes one pause and think about those highest soul qualities in action. And that, and that involves thinking too. I think the power of thought is so much more powerful than we give consideration to. So it's all three. And again, thank you. And I think the light of Christ consciousness is a very powerful, attractive force. And I think it draws the devas, it draws the builders at every level, because I think they recognize the goodness and the love that is part of the energy and the vibration of the Christ consciousness. And it brings them in to manifest at the highest level. Thank you.
Can I speak?
Yeah, Christine, of course, please. I cannot activate the translation of, unfortunately.
I try in English.
Oh, thank you.
From it's an impression from the ray 1 to the ray 7. And the message is to live the energy, this energies, this direction in our quotidian life, daily life. Voilà, daily life. And I have the image of a rose bush, rose bush, buisson de rose, rose bush. And the idea of in international politics of a third way, une troisième voie, a third way, yes, a way will respect the rules of um, of, of the divine rules and the human rules aligned to the divine rules. I don't know if I speak well in English. And this third way can be manifested in all life, in our daily lives, like in the daily lives of many nations of the world, and it's begin to manifest this actually by many discourses of leader of the world, like Canadian First Minister Canadien, President Lula, etc. President Macron, Korea, and Korea of South Korea, etc. Many countries of the world try to find this third way, and we must try to live this in our life also. Thank you. It's difficult for me in English. Thank you to be indulgent. No, merci.
You did great. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. You were very clear and very important message. Thank you, Lynn, for these questions. And this first question of new truth brought into my recognition that's really the quite seismic shifts happening, and we might not recognize yet the nature of this shift. But interestingly enough, a myth of coming from ancient Egypt helped me to recognize this idea, this what is happening. In one of the myths is related to son of two main gods of ancient Egypt pantheon of Osiris and Isis, and that is Horus, the god who often manifests himself as a falcon. You probably know his depiction, a falcon god. And so Horus is an god who oversees all rulers of the world. And he flies high and he can see everything as a falcon does. And he makes sure that the world is ruled with truth and justice. And interesting enough, this god Horus he's often called as a one-eye god, because in a battle with the evil uncle, he lost one of his eyes. But at the same time, it's like one eye, it's like a third eye. So he can see everything and he can see through everything. And so when I think about this one-eyed God, I recognize the symbolism of Ajna, the planetary Ajna, which is we know that the new group of world servers is supposed to become and is now in the process of becoming the planetary Ajna. So in a way, we can say that new group of world servers is becoming that takes the function of being the God that can see everything and that makes sure that the world is ruled with truth and justice. And if we think about all the movements that's happening and the response that's now arising in so many countries to unjust rules, and that's everything becomes so transparent when some stupid things are done by rulers of this world. It's so obvious and it becomes the visible for all those who wants to see, for all those people who can take responsibility for their life and for the life of their nations. And so that is who is the new group of world servers. So that is what the new truth is.
I like that story, Alexander. And during the meditation with the how can we balance a will energy offered by Aries to align with soul consciousness, what came to me was that sort of first ray energy, how it can just be that observation, that totally clear looking at the situation, just observing, unflinchingly. And that's what came to me, and that's how that will energy can link with the soul consciousness. And I think it's in some way connected with the story you're speaking of Horus and this watchfulness. And indeed, we need to be very watchful, because as you say, things are changing so much. We have to keep an eye on things. The other thing, I thought, what is a new truth? Is it actually new, or is it just that we are uncovering it or seeing it for the first time in this observation? We suddenly see the truth, and it's our seeing it that is new rather than the actual revelation, I suppose. And in the third question, I just had a question come up. I thought, I'm not sure whether I fully understand. I've always thought of the Davic kingdom form building, and I think I have thought of it as being the physical, the dead's physical form, like this Tibetan says, a hand is but a deva, a fish in the water. But they also must be building the etheric physical world. And I wonder how much of this shift we're looking to or sensing is about being able to see this etheric David world more, and to be experiencing through the etheric rather than through the dense physical senses. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. I think we also have to take into account that that everything supposedly we're taught by DK is made of Deva substance. Even our soul bodies, our soul body is a Deva creation, and all the way through, I believe, all the way through the entire universe, anything, if I read this right, anything is created from Deva material. So we're talking about emotions and thoughts, um, so much that we're used to. And I think somebody mentioned earlier how sometimes it's hard to see that something has changed. And I think there's just such a delay. It's often there's a delay between the initial thought and then the ability of materializing it by the devas to materialize it. There can be a gap in what we experience as time, and I know I have to talk to myself to try to maintain, the consistency, to stick with the belief or stick with the positive aspect that I think needs to happen, and keep those thoughts going in the right direction, and not, and keep hope going. If I understand right from the studies I've done, the devas, there are multiple ways we work with them, but the thing is, the deva world, if I understand right, and maybe Helen, you may have to correct me on some of this, but the deva world is totally in line with divine will. They don't have will. They don't take exception, except maybe the higher devas. That might be different. But the lower ones that we're used to seeing manifest, they just do whatever is natural law. And the problem with that for humanity is that we do have will, and sometimes we aren't conscious of it, and they respond to whatever the will is that's put out there, and we can create some pretty horrific things. And I don't think they appreciate it. I think, was it Andrea that said, or Kathy, I think, that said something about the positive energy that that they respond to. That was it. And I think they probably are a joyful bunch of beings that find great joy in working through soul energy and that sort of thing. But those elementals, they're just going to respond to whatever thought is put forth in some way. Luckily, for a long time, we don't have enough power usually to create too much horror or too much negativity, except through groups, I guess. Anyway, I think also the new truth. I think you're right, Helen, that it's an old truth, but maybe for us new, because we've evolved and it's in a new setting, and to us, it's just what we needed at the time. So it's a new truth to us, even if it's been there, for eternity. Thanks, everybody.
I too thought the new truth was the old truth. And it's, as Christine said, the quotidian. So in our everyday life, to take truth and justice out. Thanks.
I would also add that the new truth is the original and the eternal truth. It's a lovely thing that Helen brought into pondering what is the new truth. But I think the truth is eternal. It has not changed. It's not old or new. It's just the way it is. It is just the truth.
Thank you, Andrea, for this addition. It is important, yes, to recognize that there is the higher truth and its ability to see that and sense it and express it. What makes it new, so we become sensitive to that and capable to not just to sense, but also to talk that truth. And that truth is related to soul consciousness. We start recognizing it when the soul consciousness fires up within us.
Yeah, I think it is basically the truth is the truth. And it's a matter of how we align with that truth. And it becomes new to us. It takes us from that lower chakra realm to the higher vibrational realms. And it's maybe a new truth for us as we've evolved. Because coming during the involution, we had a different maybe view of truth because of the Maya and the illusion and everything. And now the clouds are clearing, the veil is thinning, and we're looking at it at a higher level through the mental and heart chakra. So, yeah, thank you.
Yes, I agree with those comments. The truth has always been the truth. It is what it is and can't be changed. And I think we're all realizing, humans beings, that it is that there's been a lot of everything's been based at higher levels on selfishness and twisting the truth. And now the time has come when it's beginning to become obvious what they've been up to. And people are starting to think, well, no, we can't put up with that anymore. We must start standing up for the common man, because I think he's been rather, well, he has been used and abused by those in the upper echelons. And I think we can balance the will energy by love of the soul, because we need to use will. And the important thing is that it's used in the right way and for the right reasons. And that can be done through the soul with love. I think that was all. We're seeing a lot of untruth at the moment, just because that's the state of the world at the moment. But that's probably how it's all designed, I would imagine, because people need to see what's right and what's wrong. Thank you.
I have to tell you a short story. The point of it is just that listening is what people have said in our group for so long is so important. When I was about 4 years old, I was a little girl. My little brother was about 2, and I was going to help him. My mom said, "You're my helper." And I said, "Oh boy." And I was sure I was going to help him. So time he didn't do something the right way, I told him that, "Oh no, that's not the way you do it, Tom. Here's how you're supposed to do it." And he eventually became so angry with me that he would start a fight. And pretty soon there was chaos ensued. But anyway, my whole point um, being that and with all of this too, keeping that love that you talked about, Jill, keeps us open to the whole interaction we're involved in, and the reactions and the understanding that's there or isn't there in our interactions. And I was going to just spend a minute too, maybe addressing question 2. And what came to me when I was dealing with this was something I'm not sure of, that maybe some of you can give me opinion on. I'd appreciate it, or if other people are interested too. In balancing the will energy and soul consciousness, and with humanity and society, I wonder if once we're aligned with will, if maybe we don't start creating structures. And of course, structures are always temporary. But if we don't, maybe if that isn't a time that someone who's pretty willful of Ray 1 doesn't start creating structures that allow room for humanity to grow into. It's just a thought I had.
I work very consciously with my will, and I have found that the phrases, the will to good, the will to love, have been bridges for me and have created a kind of a connection that's become a binding, that has become a road and a path and a journey, and maybe the beginning of my own, like, rainbow bridge, but my own bridge to the will to love and wisdom. I intentionally surrender my will in service, as the servant master kind of thing, that in service to love and wisdom, to harmony through conflict. And there's a song here, a local writer here in Hawaii. It's time to build a bridge, and it's very poignant. It's simple, simple language, heartfelt. I would say, that the song itself is a demonstration of the combining of will and love wisdom by this musician, leading to harmony. I mean, so I'm going to purchase the song if I ever figure out my Apple Music part membership thing. But so that's really important to me, and I think that this time really highlights that with Aries and with everything you said, Lynn. That introduction explanation and then the gentle weaving of it into our moving forward. So from the astrology and astronomy to the everyday actions was just beautiful in all of that work. I imagine perhaps it was a group work as well that you were representing and expressing for us, but whatever. And your strength of holding all of that and embodying it and expressing it non-verbally in your energy as you presented just shows me your level of mastery as a teacher, as an educator, that you've built those muscles through perhaps life, your adult life of work, in holding those in a way that are still open. So it's a path and a bridge, not a enclosed container that's limited. And it's a path and a bridge to potentiality being realized. So I'm very appreciating the combined work of all of you who have brought this and these questions into being. I agree or believe, and I don't know which because I can't remember how it's presented, that the Devic kingdom is part of also the etheric bodies building. That as soon as we as creators emit with our will into thought or motion, impulse, or whatever, that's when the Devic kingdom partnership is activated. And so it's only in reflection and in our stillness before we sprout the will. That's when we're pure creators and co-creators with all the wisdom of the universe and all the love of the universe. But as soon as there starts to be any move or impulse to expression, and that's the use of will, that's when there's partnership with the Devic kingdom in my experience. And Christ consciousness is some of the most powerful and best and purest of this age that we have, that we can bring the seeds of, and the filaments and the firmaments of, into the weaving of this next age. Also that of the Buddha and many other wise teachers. And it's going to be so important that all of those flavors, all of those ethnicities, all of those nationalities, all of those both and all genders are fully expressing the gems, the purities of this previous age, which and the new age is so unformed that we can't even necessarily imagine what form it will take, and what form will a coming one take. I believe that trying to settle in on or name that it'll be the returning of Christ. Christ was the emerging, like Buddha and Muhammad and many others, in response to the challenges of this age, of this former age. And what is going to be the leader and the kind of combining force of inspiration and coalition for the coming age is beyond our imagining right now. And so I think it can be a mistake to be locked on a revisiting and a recoming, except in Christ consciousness and in Buddhist consciousness and so on. the consciousness, that which was immortal, that was part of what each of those created in response to the challenges of this former age. That's the preciousness that must be held steady as we bring in and influence and offer material or energy and power for the emergence of this next age. So I see Christ consciousness as holding, a context that I can stand in and root in, and as I stand for, and as I turn and stand for the emergence of this new age through whatever bits of goodness and love that I have the will to express. So anyway, I hope that is understandable in some ways, in any way.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, friends, for this rich sharing and reflection. Let us continue holding the tension of group meditation on this topic, and questions then lead offer it for us to reflect in this Aries cycle. We will announce additionally about the date for our second quarter moon meeting, where we will have more opportunity to reflect and share together. And now we're coming to the time to close our sharing at this time in the circle. And I invite you to consider focalizing one of the cycles of meditation for common good this year. With the Aries cycle, we started the new annual schedule. And so there is a link in the chat and that you can see this schedule of full moons and new moons in this year till the next Pisces in 2027. There are no meeting dates because those dates are decided upon availability of whoever will be focalizing that cycle. So I invite you to consider maybe the cycle related to your rising sign or maybe sun sign. So please, you can add your name into the schedule or just let us know that when you would like to localize that meditation. And with this, from fulfilling our regular ritual of closing our meeting, inviting whoever feels drawn in this moment to sound the mantra of your choice to close our work tonight, today, or this morning, some of us.
I will close with the Gayatri then. O thou who givest sustenance to the universe, from whom all things proceed, to whom all things return, unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by a disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet. Om.